Hi, I'm Prisma from California. Please like and subscribe. My sister Juliet and I were born to freakishly rich parents who adored and spoiled us at our lakeside mansion. Even though Juliet and I were twins, people always seemed to compliment me more for my pretty blonde curls and blue eyes.
Look at this beautiful child. She's God's gift to humans.
Of course, both of our daughters are adorable.
Oh, that one's yours too. I never would have guessed.
See what I mean? This didn't change even after we grew up. Over time, Juliet started noticing it too and became extremely competitive, especially when it came to dancing.
Look at Prisma's move. She's so adorable.
She'll make us proud one day.
What? She's dancing like a frog who's holding in a fart. How can you guys be so blind?
I admit Juliet was better than me, but I wasn't so bad. And everyone, including my parents, seemed to agree. But every time they praised me, Julia's butt would light on fire. Not that I cared. I loved the attention. Over the next few years, Juliet and I grew further apart, and by the time we were 16, we were pretty much strangers living under the same roof. She got into dancing, and I fell in love with writing. Things were fine, till one day, Dad lost all his money in stocks, and we had to sell our estate and move to a tiny apartment. Worst of all, I had to share a room with Juliet. Seriously, Mom, I need my privacy. You know that.
It's just for one night. We'll buy you a mattress in the morning, and Juliet can sleep in the lounge.
No way. I need my own room too. If she gets one, so do I.
Please don't be so melodramatic.
Before Juliet could argue more, Mom left. Juliet tossed and turned angrily, but finally fell asleep, and I did too. But a few hours later, I woke up to her screaming,
Ew, I can't believe you still do that.
I felt horrible as I realized the bed was all wet. I had a condition where stress could sometimes make me lose control over my bladder while sleeping. That was my secret. And now, Juliet knew. Shut up, Juliet. It's not a big deal.
Who would have thought Ms. Perfect needed diapers? It's a huge deal. And now you'll do what I say if you don't want anyone at our new school to find out.
You're an awful person.
You don't say. I worked so hard to be this awful, so thank you. For the first time in years, I get to dominate you.
I gave up the room, and Juliet promised to tell no one, but it was so hard to trust her. On our first day of our new school, Juliet and I could feel all eyes on us as we entered, and I heard a few kids whispering about our branded clothes and bags. That's all we had from our life before.
Look at them. They all look. This place is yuck.
Don't say that. It's the best Mom and Dad could do.
You don't have to kiss their butt now they're not around to hear you and pat your back. Anyway, I'm off. Good luck getting through a year in this dump.
Such a brat. Thank God we were in different homerooms. But it was kinda true. The school wasn't half as fancy as my private one back in Malibu. Kids were louder and meaner, and even the teachers didn't seem to care. That day, as I walked back home, I missed my old life and prayed something could magically put everything back in place. I guess God was in a happy mood, 'cause the next day, Juliet gave us the best news we'd heard all week.
I auditioned for the role of dancer in Superstar Karen's next movie. OMG, this Karen doesn't age. I should get her doctor's number. I know I'm, super pretty, but I can be prettier, so why not? Anyway, I got a call back for the second round. How amazing is that?
That's so cool. You totally deserve it.
Stop pretending. I know you're probably just burning inside. Get ready to beg for my autograph.
Geez, relax. Don't be so overconfident, okay?
No one is as good as me. There, this rolls in my pocket. Anyway, I have to practice, so I'll see you guys around.
I was genuinely happy for her, but I just wished something could turn up for me too, especially after I saw how Mom fussed over Juliet. It made me even more jealous than I'd like to admit. Juliet's audition was in a week, and Mom decided it would be a good idea to tag along and cheer her on, despite her protests. The set was huge, and I felt like I'd entered a TV or something. Just then, Karen walked in, looking like a vision, and everyone fell silent. She looked even better than her movies. This woman was a goddess.
Okay, let's get this movie started. Wait a minute, who are you?
I was so lost in admiring her that I didn't realize I was standing in the middle of the scene. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just...
No, go back. Could you dance for me?
Oh, I'm not really here for that.
Just give it a try, please.
She signaled for the music to start, and I did what she said. To my surprise, I enjoyed the attention on me, and the camera didn't make me feel nervous. After I was done, Karen took me to her office.
Okay, so I'm gonna offer you a deal. $1 million, and you sign the movie now.
But I've been so out of touch with dance, and my sister's way better. You should give her a chance.
I don't know who your sister is, but no one here is as pretty as you. And I could always train you. Think about it. It's either you or some other girl, but not your sister.
Karen handed me her card and left. And when I turned around, I saw Juliet fuming at me. And when we reached home, she went bonkers on me.
How dare you? This was my chance to shine, and you snatched it away. I hate you.
Listen, I know how this looks, but I didn't think this would happen. And she told me she wasn't offering the role to you anyway. So it's a good thing I got it. We could use the money.
You'll make up anything to justify how selfish you are. If I don't get this role, you can't have it either. And if you take it, I'll make sure you regret it.
Don't threaten me like that. If you were good enough, she wouldn't have chosen me. Okay? Think about that. I knew how Juliet felt, but it was a 1 in a million opportunity. The money would benefit all of us, and it wasn't like she was getting the role. So why couldn't I have it? The next morning, I went to Karen and signed the deal. When Juliet found out, she lost her mind and screamed for hours. But I knew I'd done the right thing for my family, so I ignored her. A week later, we started shooting, and working with Karen was a dream. She was the sweetest. But for some reason, no one else on set agreed with me. One evening, after a late shoot, we talked, and I told her my whole story.
Oh, darling, I know how you feel. I come from a poor family too, and I made my way up.
Really? That's so inspiring. I felt so special because she confided in me. But the next day when I met her, she totally blew me off. And soon, she started showing her true colors. She treated me like her servant, and I was stuck getting her coffee and salads, and she kept criticizing me in front of the whole crew during shootings. I decided to talk to her. But soon we started with promotion interviews, and there was never a good time. During one interview, the host asked me a bunch of questions, but Karen kept butting in.
So what do you love most in the world?
Well, I love...
Dancing and me, of course. She's my biggest fan.
Yes, but I was saying that my parents...
Are so proud of her. I took this poor girl under my wing, and now I'll make her a big star. Isn't she lucky?
Karen didn't let me say anything. And the next day, everybody was talking about her big heart. No one was talking about my talent. Great. Now people think I'm some charity case.
Don't overthink it. Of course you're talented, but everyone likes a good sob story. Just go with the flow.
I tried, but it kept getting worse. Everyone wanted to know more about how I became famous, and even started bothering my parents to get their answers.
Are you really poor, or is this just a publicity stunt?
How does it feel to live off your daughter's money?
Well, it's my money to begin with, so I feel betrayed.
What the heck are you doing?
Telling the truth, helping the media. I'm being a responsible citizen.
I dragged Juliet away before she said something to make the situation worse. And a few weeks later, we moved to another place. Lately, the stress had been so much that I was wetting the bed more frequently. I really hadn't expected things to be so hard. A few days later, I was going through the script when I heard noises coming from Karen's office and peeped in to see the writer of the movie crying.
You can't do this. You promised me a better amount for my story. That's why I gave the script to you.
Oh, cry me a river for changing my mind. This is my last offer. Or, I can break your career faster than I break hearts.
But it's not enough. You know how much this story means to me. And I'm knee-deep in debt.
Not my problem. You want the money or not?
The girl left crying, and I entered the room to have a word with Karen.
Stay out of it.
But it's not fair. You can't just take away her hard work and not even pay her well for it. It's just wrong.
Really? Have you forgotten what you did to your own sister? She was the better dancer, and you didn't even flinch before taking her place.
That was different. It was me or her.
And you chose you. You and I are more alike than you think. And time you go snooping around in my business, know this. I will fire you.
You can't do that. I'm the face of your movie, and people would crush you for firing the poor girl.
Darling, everyone is replaceable. Ask your sister.
Karen's words hit me like a hot slap. And for the first time, I thought how unfair I'd been to Juliet. I had to make it right, and I started with dropping an anonymous tip to the media about how Karen exploited her staff. The news blew up like a volcano, and Karen faced bad backlash. She knew I'd leaked the news, and I was fired on the spot. But I couldn't care less. All I wanted was to make things right. But Juliet was still ignoring me, and I couldn't blame her. How one morning I walked into her room to talk, but she wasn't around. And seconds later, I heard Mom scream. What? What happened? Mom pointed to the TV, and Karen was standing with Juliet and calling her my replacement. What? I was still reeling with shock when Juliet walked in. Juliet, I know I'm probably the last person you trust, but working with Karen will destroy you. She's just using you to teach me a lesson.
Fine by me. You do need a few lessons. Like, you're not the only dancer in the world, and I'm far more talented. Heck, if people knew your little secret, you wouldn't have even made it this far. Now stop being annoying or I might tell it to the press.
The industry runs on gossip. Sure, people will talk about me for a few days, and then what? They'll forget about it. But working with Karen will make you miserable. Don't do this.
I'll do anything I want. Now get out of my way. I have a plane to catch.
Despite my parents' pleas, Juliet left, and we didn't hear from her for weeks. Slowly, I got back to my studies and managed to pass my high school. But we were running out of money, and I needed something to keep afloat. So I decided to apply for small roles in movies. A few days later, one of the old writers on Karen's set called me and said she'd recommended me for a role in the movie based on her script. It did well, and I started getting more offers. Slowly, the money started rolling in, and we moved to a better place. I even saved up enough to put me through a writing school, and things were fine, except Juliet was still in the back of my mind. And then one day, while I was leaving for work, Mom came running in.
It's Juliet. She's in jail.
What? Mom told me that Juliet was involved in some embezzlement scandal with Karen, and they'd been arrested. We went to the police station with a lawyer to bail Juliet out. My parents seemed to forgive her instantly, but I was still mad at her.
Prisma, there's a lot I need to say, but I don't know where to start.
How about sorry or thank you?
I am really sorry. I was blinded by all the glamour and a chance to be better than you for once. Karen treated me just like you said, and she'll get powerful lawyers and get herself out of this mess. But I'm stuck in it now. You don't have to believe me, but I'm innocent.
I tried telling you she's a witch, and I think I do believe you.
Do you think you can forgive me? I will never even mention the word diaper in front of you.
Shut up! I'm better now, and it might take some time to fix things between us, but let's get this mess sorted first. And I'm happy to have you home.
Hi, I'm Sasha, and I have a crazy story to tell you. But before I do, please like and subscribe. When I started basic school, I hardly ever talked to anyone. I was so shy and quiet that some of my classmates thought I was a dummy. My kindergarten teacher even told my parents to take me to a doctor and find out what was wrong with me. But Dad completely lost his temper with her.
Are you dumb? She is too beautiful for there to be anything wrong with her. Why don't you save your advice for some other real dumb kid?
But my shyness just didn't go away. I didn't talk much to my classmates, and they thought I was a snob. As if. But no matter what, my shyness just didn't go away. I didn't talk much to my classmates, and they thought I was a snob. As if, once, when I was in the first grade, some of my classmates asked me to share my candy with them. But I just stared back at them and didn't reply.
Who do you think you are, you dumb girl? I said. Give us candy.
I didn't say a word and started walking away. They got angrier and circled me. Suddenly, I opened my mouth and let out an ear-splitting scream. They were so shocked to actually hear my voice that they just stood there stupidly, and I managed to escape. But at home, I was a completely different person. I was super chatty and an awesome storyteller. In fact, sometimes my parents begged me to stop talking because I was giving them headaches. Once, I kept them awake all night, telling them a story I had in my mind about some princess. And because I didn't know how to write well, they spent all night writing it for me. It ended up about 90 pages long.
I will do this every night, sweetheart. I can't believe I have such a beautiful daughter in my life.
Dad just worshipped me because I was pretty. Mom was different and loved me no matter what. I was still too shy to talk outside my home. But people never stopped trying to become friends with me. And I know why now. It's only because they thought I was cute. But I had to admit, I kind of liked it. When I was in the 3rd grade, one boy threw a piece of paper at me that said, "Your smile makes me happy, but your words make me happier." Can I hear them? I blushed, and from that moment, I tried to talk more. So I made new friends and also started taking part in different school activities. When I was in the 8th grade, my parents helped me publish my first short novel. But it was a failure, and people didn't like it. I got sad. Dad didn't take it well and sued the publishers saying it was their fault. But of course, he lost the case, and I decided to take a break from writing. Until one morning when our class teacher walked into the classroom with a tall, athletic boy. It really looked like the boy wasn't too happy to join us.
Everyone, welcome your new classmate, Liam.
Liam had a deep frown and a stupid smile at the same time. He had this funny Grinch face. The teacher told Liam to take a seat right next to me, and I gave him a friendly smile.
That's the ugliest smile I've ever seen. Have you heard of toothpaste? I can buy it for you. If you don't have money, you can pay me back. Maybe with a kiss.
Oh, wow! I was about to respond when the teacher started the lesson. It was a French lesson, and he looked completely blank. Hey, do you need any help?
From you? You don't look very smart, and I don't need help from a girl when I can use Google Translate on my phone. So buzz off.
What a jerk! The next day, when the teacher returned the assignments, Liam looked really angry to see a big F on his.
What kind of dumb school is this? How can Google be wrong?
I took a look at his paper and burst out laughing. That's not even French, you idiot! You translated the whole thing to Spanish! He crumpled up his assignment into a ball and threw it at my face. But I couldn't stop laughing. Boy, how could someone be this stupid? I figured out soon enough that Liam wasn't interested in learning or making friends. Eventually, the whole school realized that Liam was just interested in bullying others. Sometimes, he would snatch students' lunch and threaten to beat them if they reported him. I was one of those unlucky students. But after the 3rd time he did it, I reported him to the principal and he was put in detention. When Liam returned from detention, he looked straight into my eyes.
You are going to pay for this.
Well, you should know your limits. If you ever try to bother me again, I swear you will regret it. And I might even tell Dad.
Aw, Daddy's daughter, look at me. I'm so scared. Oh, Mommy, hug me.
Once he tried to knock my books out of my hands, when suddenly a bunch of boys behind him came and said,
"Dude, why are you being like this with a pretty girl like her?"
Wait, what? So if I wasn't pretty, that would be okay?
Well, pretty girls deserve special treatment, you know. So now we're all here to stop him. He can't annoy pretty girls.
Well, thanks for your caring, but girls can defend themselves. And I pushed through them and left.
Told you guys, girls are crazy, especially the pretty ones. Now get lost, all of you, or else.
Liam did whatever he wanted. It seemed he wasn't afraid of anyone, not even the principal. I really hated him. One rainy day, Liam came to school completely drenched, and it seemed like he'd fallen sick. He was shivering non-stop, and the principal said he'd call his parents to take him home. But to everyone's surprise, Liam screamed,
"No, I'm fine. I don't want to go home. Please let me stay."
You have to go home and rest.
No, I don't. I could run a marathon right now, just some water, and I'll be good to go.
Later at recess, I found him huddled on the bleachers, and he was hugging a worn-out teddy bear. Dude, is that a stuffed toy?
Don't insult Mr. Smith.
Oh, he has a name? Is he like your little baby? Is he adopted or did you give birth to him?
Shut up, can't you leave me alone?
You're sick and you need to go home.
You look much, prettier when you're quiet. Now stop acting like you care.
Have to be like this. I'm trying to be nice.
Who asked you? Mind your own business.
As soon as he was fine, he went right back to being the jerk he always was. I started writing about him in my notebook. Liam was such an interesting person for a villain. I couldn't believe that having someone as horrible as him in my life was actually making me want to get back to writing. One day when I was leaving the cafeteria, Liam blocked my way and demanded that I give him my lunch. We're not in kindergarten, idiot. And I ate it. and I'm not afraid of you. Now shoo! As I walked past him, he suddenly pulled at my bag and everything spilled out. A couple of boys immediately ran over to help me, and I gathered my stuff and left angrily. What an immature jerk! When I went home, I found out that my notebook was missing. I rushed straight to the locker the next morning and was going through all my stuff frantically when I heard Liam.
Behind me looking for this?
Give that back, you jerk! He threw it at me, giving me that stupid smile of his.
Got what I needed.
And with that, he walked away. I had no idea what he was up to, but I found out soon enough. Later that day, the whole school was gathered in the gym for a lecture on fire safety. As we stood waiting around for it to start, suddenly, Liam jumped onto the stage and tapped the mic for everyone's attention.
Ha ha ha. While we are all gathered here to talk about our safety in school, I just want to say, I don't feel safe at all. How can I when I have a stalker right here?
Oh no, 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 no. Just then, the large screen behind him flickered and images from my notebook showed up. As the sketches and the things I'd written about him flashed on the screen, I wanted to disappear.
And it's none other than the girl everyone adores. Sasha, she's obsessed with me. Guess just because you're pretty on the outside doesn't mean you can't be a total creep inside. So everyone be careful. You might wake up someday to find yourself a villain in her novel. She's cuckoo.
As everyone's eyes turned to me, I could feel panic rise in my chest.
But it's okay, sweetie. I can still be your boyfriend. Want to hang out sometime?
As I ran out of the gym, I turned around and said, "You're bad. I hate you." As I walked into the school the next day, my legs were trembling. I just stared down at my feet as I entered the classroom. The lesson started, and when the teacher asked me to read my essay out loud, I just looked down and shook my head. Just as everyone was leaving for the cafeteria, Liam hung back.
Hey, Sasha, are you okay? If this is about the gym thing, everyone knows it was just a harmless joke.
I just stared at him silently with angry tears and walked out of the school. This time, he responded and looked a bit guilty. Liam didn't come to school the next few days. I don't know why, but I actually felt worried. One day, he finally showed up. "Hey, I still don't like you, but I made sure to make notes for you when you came back. And no, girls aren't dumb. We can be emotional sometimes, and that's something we're proud of." Just then, to my shock, Liam broke down and started to cry.
Sasha, I'm really sorry. I don't know why I'm this way. I just act out because of things going on in my own life.
Then he told me about how his mother had passed away when he was 6, and he was left all by himself with his stepdad.
He's mean and stupid and doesn't even take care of me. And one day, when I'm old enough, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
I finally saw why Liam was like that. He was just a frustrated kid who needed help. Next day, during lunch, Liam jumped on one of the tables and announced something. Everyone got quiet and listened to him.
Hey everyone, I'm just here to apologize for everything I did to all of you. I still think some of you are weird, and I don't like most of you, but that didn't give me the right to treat anyone like that. So, as they say in French, lo siento.
Dude, that's Spanish. Just get down. Everyone burst into laughter, and Liam gave me a hug.
Thank you for lighting up my life. I promise I will become a better person. No, not really. Only under one condition: make me the irresistible, handsome, great hero in your novel.
Helping Liam become a better person is my greatest achievement. Now he is a medical doctor with a beautiful wife, and he named his child Sasha after me. And now I'm a famous writer. Hi, my name is Pomni from Norway, and I never thought anyone noticed me. Not until I met the sleeping boy. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning, like and subscribe. You won't regret it. Growing up, the only person who ever noticed me was my big sister, Ragatha. My mom traveled for work so much that I even called Ragatha Mom. When I was too little to understand what was going on, my sister would take me to school, where I would sit in silence and never say a word to anyone until she picked me up again. And then I wouldn't shut up the whole way home. But she didn't mind. She liked hearing me talk, and she liked playing games with me, like making me look like one of her dolls. She would also give me a makeover using our mom's makeup. Or dress me up as a monster and have me chase her around the house. Roar! I'm gonna eat your head.
My head?
Yeah, it's the yummiest part.
You really are a little monster.
Roar! When we got older, our mom moved to another country for work. She asked if we wanted to come, but we decided to stay. Ragatha had graduated from university and had a real job now, so we didn't have much time to hang out. But every Friday, I would wait for her at the train station near my school for when she got out of work. And we would hang out all weekend. And even though we grew up, nothing really changed. Except now we didn't play dress up anymore. Now we dressed up for real to go out to dinner, or the arcade, or whatever we wanted. We had the best life. The only problem was, I was still too shy to talk to anyone, especially boys. One time when we were at the arcade, I saw a boy staring at us. Ragatha elbowed me.
He's looking at you, Pomni. Go talk to him.
My cheeks got so red, my hands all clammy. I suddenly froze up and couldn't even play the games anymore.
Okay. Let's go home. You don't have to talk to any boys. But you know, it would make me really happy if you tried at least once for me.
Maybe you can talk to a boy for me, then I won't have to do any work. She gave me a dirty look, but she was only kidding. I knew she was right. I just had no idea how I would ever talk to a boy. Then one Friday, the train that was supposed to arrive didn't come.
And suddenly, I got a really bad feeling. After 30 minutes, the train finally came, but Ragatha wasn't on it. I called and called, but she didn't answer. Then finally, I got a call, but it was from a random number.
Hello?
Is this Ragatha's sister? Pomni, this is the hospital. Your sister was in an accident. She's in a coma.
All the air left my lungs. In the hospital, I found her lying there with her head bandaged. She looked like she was sleeping. They didn't know how, but she fell onto the tracks and hit her head. The doctor said it was impossible to know when she would wake up. From that day on, I started visiting her every day. I usually read to her, but one day I forgot my book, so I just talked. And when I left, I ran into the nurse in the hallway.
If you have time, maybe you can talk to him too. He's in a coma, like your sister. I think he was part of the accident she was involved with.
He was?
I think so, but we don't know who he is. He didn't have any ID when he was brought in.
He had no one to visit him. I felt so sad. I imagined my sister being here all alone, with no one to talk to her all day. Before I knew it, I was in his room. He looked a couple of years older than me. I sat down beside his bed, and without even realizing it, I was just talking to him, just like I talked to Ragatha. 30 minutes later, I was finally out of things to talk about. That's when I realized something. You know, you're the only boy I've ever talked to. You're a really good listener. I started bringing 2 books to the hospital every day after that. One for my sister, and one for the boy with no name. Something strange happened after I was reading to him for a few days. Every night when I went home, I would think about him and even dream that we met and talked and fell in love. I realized it was ridiculous to fall in love with someone I didn't even know. And the next day, when I read to him, I tried to push the thoughts away. But for some reason, I just couldn't help but think, maybe it was love at first sight. That night, I decided to leave the book I had been reading to him in the hospital closet so I wouldn't forget it. But when I opened it, I saw there was a leather sketchbook inside. I opened it and saw that it was drawings of people at the train station. Every page was a different person. I flipped until I found my sister. I couldn't believe it. I realized then that the nurse was right. They must have been in the same accident. And it gave me a great idea. Maybe if I could find out what happened, I could find out who he was. I went to the train station from his drawings. It was the same one Ragatha used to come and see me after work on Fridays. I saw a woman waiting for the train. Excuse me, do you know about an accident that happened here a few weeks ago?
Yes, I was here. A young woman fell from the platform as the train was coming and she hit her head. She would have died. But then the boy jumped down and picked her up. But as he pulled her away, the side of the train hit his back and he fell too.
Whoa! The boy I had been reading to all this time had saved my sister's life. Maybe I wasn't so ridiculous for having feelings for him. Maybe it was destiny. Then the woman pointed to an elderly lady.
That older woman. I think it's the boy's grandmother. She's been coming here every day waiting for him. We tell her he's in the hospital, but she doesn't remember.
I was so sad to see her waiting there for him. I wanted to tell her what happened. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you waiting for your grandson?
Yes, he's never late.
I don't know what happened, but I decided if she couldn't remember anything, maybe it wasn't a good idea to tell her something so terrible, like he's in a coma and might never wake up. But I couldn't leave her there like that, waiting for him. She had a cane and looked very weak. I'm sure he'll come home soon. Can I help you get home? I walked with her as she told me stories about how kind and wonderful her grandson was.
His name is Oscar. He's always drawing. He takes care of me.
With every word she spoke about him, I was falling more and more in love. But then I realized, oh no! Without him, she had no one to take care of her. After I walked her home, I went to the market and bought a bunch of food and took it to her house, where we both cooked while she told me more stories about him.
I always tell him he needs to meet a girl and have a life of his own. But he says he doesn't have time for girls. He says it's because of his work. But I know it's because he takes care of me every day. But there is one girl he likes a lot. He always draws her. See?
She pointed to a stack of drawings. I looked through them all. They were all of Ragatha waiting at the train station. I couldn't believe it. He was in love with her. My heart broke into a million pieces. The love I felt for him, it was all for nothing. And what was worse, if they both woke up, they would probably end up together, and I would have to watch. Still, I couldn't let his grandmother be alone, with no one to take care of her. So every day I would take the train and find her there waiting for him. And every day we would cook while she told me stories about how wonderful he was. I had to smile, but I wanted to cry. And every night after visiting her, that's exactly what I did. I cried on the train ride home, on the walk, and in my bed. And every day I would get up, go to the hospital, read to my sister, and then read to him. And then one day, I stopped reading and just talked. You know, Oscar, you're still the only boy I've ever talked to. And to be honest, the only boy I've ever loved. When you wake up, everything will be different. I'll miss spending time with you, but I hope we can at least be friends. One night, while I was sleeping, I got a phone call. Hello?
Fantastic news! Your sister woke up and she's doing really well!
I ran to the hospital and found her sitting there eating pudding. She smiled big when she saw me. I hugged her so tight, she begged me to let go. Before we left, I asked the nurse, "Can I come back to see him again?"
I'm sorry, but we don't allow anyone up here except family. I wasn't supposed to let you visit him at all, but I felt so bad.
Oh, I see. Can I say goodbye? She nodded, and I went to Oscar's room. When you wake up, I'll make sure you and my sister meet again. Oh, and don't worry. I'll take care of your grandmother until then. Goodbye, sleeping boy. I asked if Ragatha remembered anything, but she didn't. I heard a boy saved your life when you fell?
Really? I would love to meet him one day.
I'm sure you will. Fate has a way of making things happen. After that, Ragatha was still too hurt to work, so she just lived with me. But I kept seeing Oscar's grandmother every day to make sure she ate and was doing okay. One day, I knocked on his grandmother's door, and when it opened, it wasn't her on the other side. It was Oscar. I am.
Hello! Are you looking for my grandmother?
Yes.
She told me someone was taking care of her while I was sick, but she couldn't remember your name. Thank you.
Then he gave me a big hug, and all the thoughts I was trying to push away about being in love with him came back. He invited me inside, and we all had dinner. And this time, he had done all the cooking, and it was still delicious. While we sat and ate, I realized all the stories his grandmother had told about him were true. He was kind, sweet, funny. Then he asked me to wait while he put her to bed. After, he asked if we could talk outside. I said yes, but to my surprise, instead of going out the door, he went to a ladder that led up to the attic. Wait, why up there?
This is where I go to draw when my grandmother goes to bed, and tonight there will be fireworks.
He went up, and I followed him, even though I hated heights. He led me to a window and stepped out. He sat on the roof, and I sat beside him, looking over the faraway city. The lights twinkled like stars.
So how did you meet my grandmother?
Oh no! I hadn't thought about this part. If I told him the truth, I would have to say that I read to him in the hospital. At the train station. She was always waiting for you. Which wasn't a lie exactly. But now that meant I couldn't even tell him thank you for saving my sister's life. Maybe if I ask him about the accident, it will all come out naturally. but he said he couldn't remember what had happened. I felt so foolish for not telling him the truth, just to save myself from a little embarrassment. All he did was be nice to me. I decided I owed him for saving Regatha, so even though I would be humiliated and look stupid, I would tell him the truth. But before I could, he said,
I kind of remember a little. There was this girl. I think she fell. I was in love with her.
I know.
You know? How could you know?
I saw your drawing of her. Your grandmother showed me. You were in love with her. That's why you jumped and saved her.
Actually, no. I was in love with her sister.
I couldn't breathe. Did he just say what I think he said? He looked down at the ground and said,
Every Friday, the girl from my drawings and I would get on the same train. Sometimes we talked a little. She said she was meeting her sister, and she started telling me about her, what she was like. She was cool and funny, and when she would get off, her sister would meet her. And I guess it was love at first sight, like we were meant to be. Sorry, I must sound stupid.
Good thing he wasn't looking at me. Or maybe he would have seen the hearts in my eyes. Why did you draw her sister and not the girl you liked?
I only saw her for a few seconds every day, but I always tried.
Then he showed me his book of drawings, and all the way in the back, there were drawings of parts of a girl. Never the full picture since he drew from memory but never saw her fully. It was me! I couldn't believe it!
After the accident, I can't remember what they looked like. I went to the station today, but I didn't see anyone who could have been her or her sister. I guess I'll never see her again.
Actually, you're looking at her right now. He turned to me, confused, and then his eyes lit up as he recognized me.
But how? I don't understand.
I put my hand on his and kissed him. Just then, the sky exploded with fireworks. I pulled away and looked into his eyes. It's a little complicated. Let's just say I took care of you.
Hi, I'm Mandy. Please like and subscribe, and tomorrow you will have the best news. Growing up, we moved around a lot because my parents were journalists. I got really good at making friends quickly, but holding on to any of them was tough since I always ended up leaving. No matter how many of my so-called besties promised they'd stay in touch. After a while, they never did. It was heartbreaking every time. One day, Mom came home with big news. She got a job in Washington, D.C. for a national newspaper, and we wouldn't have to move anymore. I was so excited. Finally, I would have rooms of our own to decorate, make friends that would last. It was a dream. When I started at my new high school, I was nervous. I had to make an amazing first impression because this one had to stick. When I sat down at my desk in the homeroom, the other kids looked at me like I was an alien until a pretty brunette girl sat down next to me.
Hey, I'm Jasmine. Love your jeans. Where'd you get them?
A thrift store in New York.
Oh my god. Is that where you're from?
Sort of. I told her all about life on the road, and we hit it off right away. I could tell she was popular, and it was easy to see why. Very involved in all sorts of clubs and sports. So charming, and top 2 of our class. She was always competing for the top spot against this one kid, Chase. She warned me about how annoying he was, and I totally agreed. I was stuck next to him in math class, and he was always talking and distracting me from taking notes. From the second we met, Jasmine invited me everywhere with her and her friends. We did our homework together, ate lunch, had sleepovers. It was amazing! Soon after I started school, Jasmine convinced me to come to her French club to see if I wanted to join. She introduced me to her friend Camille, and we had so much fun. We watched French movies and practiced speaking with each other. I joined immediately. They were going to choose 2 students for a summer study abroad in Paris. I just knew it would be a really smart move for my future. One day, I went to Camille's house to study with her, and suddenly, the cutest boy I'd ever seen walked into her kitchen.
Hey, butthead.
Excuse me?
Sorry, that was meant for my dumb little sister.
Ugh, don't listen to him.
I'm Ryan. You must be the famous Mandy I've heard so much about.
Don't you have somewhere else to be?
Nowhere better than right where Mandy is.
Then he smiled the most perfect smile I'd ever seen. I could have melted into a puddle right there. The next day at French Club, I told Jasmine all about him. Oh my god, Jazz, he's on the soccer team. Good at school.
Wow, he sounds like...
He perfect package. OMG, he's here. She turned to see Ryan walk into the room right then suddenly. Her eyes turned to ice in front of me.
Ryan? He's my ex.
Oh.
But I mean, if you like him, I guess.
No, of course I wouldn't.
Oh,
Good, because it'd be so weird. I'm so glad we're friends.
What are you all talking about?
Oh, nothing. It's nice to see you again.
Since when are you in French club?
Since I found out Mandy joined.
It was so awkward I thought I'd die. Just then, Madame Delacroix clapped her hands.
For announcement time for our upcoming Parents' Night, we will be breaking off into pairs to research and cook a classic French dish.
She started group. And surprise! Surprise! I got paired with Ryan. For just a second, I thought I could see the ice return to Jasmine's eyes, but she blinked, and it was gone. I felt sort of guilty that I'd be spending so much time with Ryan, but I vowed to keep my promise to Jasmine. Soon after that, I got assigned to help Chase hand out awards at the banquet. Hanging out with him all night would be the perfect punishment for me. A few days later, Ryan and I had to get together at his house to make chocolate mousse, my favorite.
Have you ever made this before?
No, but I've watched my dad make it, so I think Then I started the mixer. It started whipping everything up so fast that our chocolate mixture started flying out of the bowl. Soon we were both covered in chocolate. I was mortified, but Ryan just laughed and swiped some chocolate off my nose.
Looks good to me.
After we got cleaned up, we managed to make a second batch just in time to make it to the event. Madame Delacroix tasted every dish and said ours was the best of all of them. I was pretty proud, and I hoped it would get me some extra points toward the Paris program. Not even having to sit next to Chatterbox Chase all night could ruin my mood. After that, Ryan started asking me to hang out more and more. Soccer games, study sessions, sometimes even trips for ice cream. He was really funny, and we liked all the same books. I could tell he liked me, and I was really starting to like him. But I couldn't betray Jasmine. When I told my mom about it, she thought I was being ridiculous.
I don't think Jasmine really has your best interests at heart, Mandy.
She was my first friend here.
But that doesn't make her a good friend. What kind of friend keeps you from being with someone you really like?
It's girl code. So I was definitely surprised the next day, at lunch, when our group started talking about boys, to hear Jasmine exclaim,
"Who needs them? I've so moved on from Ryan. I mean, we only dated a few weeks anyway. Mandy, you can have him for all I care."
I was elated to hear her say that, but now I was nervous. I'd never really pursued anyone before, but all the signs were there, and I decided to go for it. Soon after, Ryan hurt his ankle at a soccer match and had to leave the field. We lost. I decided to visit him the next day, especially now that Jazz had given her blessing. When I walked into his living room with some cheery daisies, his whole face lit up, and he pulled me down to the couch in a huge hug. When we pulled away, I felt like I was falling into his beautiful brown eyes. I thought for just a second I might get my first real kiss, but I chickened out. I brought some ice cream too for Sundays.
You're the best, you know that?
We watched TV and ate way too much ice cream, but things felt a little different. He was texting almost constantly, when he usually was always talking to me non-stop. I wondered if I had ruined things by pulling away earlier. I tried to ignore it, but when my mom came to get me, I was sort of glad to leave. For the next few days, I tried to keep my head down and work hard towards the Paris trip, but I was glad for the distraction when Jasmine announced her birthday party to the whole class.
Arcade this weekend. My birthday wish list is on all the invites.
You going?
Of course. Jazz is my best friend.
Sure she is.
Cryptic much. You're so weird. I caught up with her in the hallway after. Can I hitch a ride to your party? This will be so fun. I already have your gift.
My carpool is full already.
Oh, okay. But she was already halfway down the hall, leaving me in her dust. I figured she was just distracted about her party and tried not to think about her weird behavior. I texted Ryan to see if he and Shamil wanted to carpool, but all I got were 3 typing bubbles in response, and then nothing. In fact, I didn't hear anything from anyone all weekend. What was going on Saturday, when my mom dropped me off at arcade, a gift in hand for Jasmine, I pasted a big smile on my face as I got out of the car. Chase waved to me and smiled. He really wasn't so annoying, maybe just a little awkward. As we walked into the party room, imagine my shock when I saw Jasmine's stick standing there holding hands with none other than Ryan. A pit dropped to the bottom of my stomach. When she leaned over to kiss him, I thought I'd die. All I wanted to do was run home and curl up under the covers, but I couldn't. It was Jasmine's birthday, my best friend. Still, I was mortified. Everyone knew I liked him, and they had all seen us spend so much time together. Now, he wouldn't even look at me. As everyone started pairing off and heading to the arcade, I realized I didn't have a partner. Blinking back tears, I suddenly felt a warm hand on my shoulder.
Hey, let's pair up for a round.
Sure. Chase and I played through, and even though I had a pit in my stomach, we actually had a lot of fun. He was pretty good, and even when I danced offbeat, he pretended not to see it. When we went inside for Jasmine's cake, I tried to put on a brave face, but when Ryan leaned over to help her blow out her birthday candles, and Jasmine turned to smile at me with a gleam in her eye like nothing was wrong, I knew I had to leave. I snuck out to the bathroom to call my mom to get me, and as soon as I got into her car, I burst into tears and cried all the way home. And even though Chase texted me to check on me, and Camille did too, the one person who I actually thought would worry enough to reach out never did. I didn't hear from Jasmine until Monday in homeroom.
Mandy, why'd you leave my party? The cake was so good.
Why did I leave? Jasmine?
What?
You have to know why I left.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You knew I liked Ryan. You told me you'd moved on, and all of a sudden you show up with him without telling me.
How can you be mad? He was my boyfriend.
Your ex-boyfriend that you said I could pursue. Why tell me that if you wanted him back all along?
See, this is why we kept it quiet. We knew you'd be upset.
What?
We got back together the day he got hurt at his soccer match. He wanted to tell you, but we all knew you'd just be upset.
So you've just been lying to me for weeks? All of you. Jazz, how am I supposed to trust anything any of you say?
All's fair in love and war.
And with that, she flipped her hair over her shoulder and switched desks. I was devastated. My first real friend. And everything had gotten so messed up. What had I missed? When I saw Ryan walking home from school, I sped up to catch him. What the heck, Ryan? I thought we liked each other. And then you show up like that with Jasmine and totally blindside me.
I didn't know you liked me.
Oh, come on. The ice cream. The flowers. You knew I liked you. There have been several moments and I didn't just imagine that you liked me, too.
I did, but you never said anything.
Well, neither did you.
And then when Jasmine came to me after I got hurt saying she wanted to get back together, why would I turn her down when I wasn't even the one to break up with her?
Like me. Don't like me? Fine. But you could have had the decency to say something before just showing up like that and humiliating me. I deserve better than that. I tried to put on a brave face at school. After all, hadn't I been a lone wolf for my whole life? But I'd gotten so used to having a friend at school that I suddenly felt the absence. Luckily, Chase came to sit by me the first time he saw me sitting alone at lunch. I couldn't see why I'd hated him so much for so long, other than the fact that Jasmine didn't like him. He was so sweet and really smart. Even though I avoided Jasmine and Ryan at all costs, I refused to quit French club. As the weather got nicer, Chase tried to get me to come out to soccer games, parties, concerts. But my sole focus was on school. I was more determined than ever to get one of the spots to go to Paris and prayed that Jasmine wouldn't get the other one. Chase became my favorite study buddy. He was almost as determined as I was for me to win the top spot on the Paris trip. On the last day of school, our report cards came out straight A's. Chase and I got big ice cream sundaes after school to celebrate. As I looked across the table at him, I thought about everything that had happened with Jasmine and Ryan and our whole big group, and I decided I was so glad to have one actual good friend instead of a bunch of not-so-great ones. Afterwards, Chase and I walked down the National Mall as the sun set. So, Mr. Number 1 in the class, how does it feel?
I'm just glad to have beat her, to be honest, especially after everything that happened with you.
I can take care of myself.
I know, but from day one you seemed so nice, and I tried to make friends with you so quickly because I knew she'd come after you right away.
What do you mean?
Jasmine and I have been in the same class since kindergarten. She has always kept the girls she was most afraid of close. You know, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
But I was never her enemy.
She's always been afraid of the smart, pretty girls in our grade. Even if you don't see it, trust me. To her, you were a threat.
Wow, I had no idea. But if I had to go through all that to become friends with you, it was worth it. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Madame Delacroix. Hello?
Mandy, I'm pleased to inform you that you have been selected for this summer's study abroad in Paris. Pack your bags, mademoiselle. I am so proud.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I mean, merci beaucoup. When we hung up, I squealed. Oh my God! I'm gonna have a stamp in my passport. Suddenly, Chase's phone rang. And when he saw the caller ID, he looked up at me with a gleam in his eye. I could barely contain my excitement. And when he finally said, "Thank you," and hung up, he turned to me with a huge smile.
Looks like I'll have a matching stamp.
Paris? Together? I threw my arms around him, overjoyed to be off on a big adventure with my favorite first real friend.
Come on, babe. You don't really mean it. You can't just leave me. Give me another chance. You know I love you.
Go away.
Man, getting rejected like that hurt a lot. But between you and me, I didn't mind. I actually kind of liked it when she said no. Yeah, it broke my heart, but it was also kind of fun. Hi, my name is Moxie. Please like and subscribe to Luna Avatar. And let's just say I'm sure I'm not like any other guy, you know? After my rejection, I ran home with my aching heart in my chest. As soon as I got home, I was barely through the door when two of my sisters, Clara and Trish, ran up to me. They were both asking me for help frantically, and I could barely hear what each one of them was saying. Things had been really hard since my mom had gone, but I had a lot of things to deal with, and my sisters just couldn't seem to understand.
The kids at school all make fun of me. Can you take me to get new ones?
I'm very busy.
My friend is having a party, and I need to buy a gift. This is the first time I've been invited to anything.
Sorry, I'm way too busy with stuff. I went to my room and got on my computer to message Rachel. I wasn't ready to give up on her yet. I typed, if you take me back, I'll give you my dad's car. But while I waited for a reply, I messaged a few other girls from school. It doesn't hurt to have some backups, right? While I was typing away, my third sister, Lindsay, burst into my room.
I'm hungry. I want to eat a sandwich.
Make it yourself. I'm busy here. She saw that I was chatting to girls online and not studying, but I didn't care. She left without a word, and I went back to my business. Eventually, Rachel messaged me back and finally agreed to meet up with me the next day so we could talk. Just then, my dad suddenly appeared in my room. I quickly made it look like I was doing homework on my computer. He started yelling at me.
You are lazy and selfish. You never help out since your mother passed away.
Leave me alone. I've had enough of you all today. I got up and ran out of the house. The next day, I arrived at the restaurant Rachel had agreed to meet me at. I sat down and things went well for a while. It seemed like she might take me back, but I remembered how weirdly fun it had felt to get turned down by her. So I started to do things that no girl would like. I checked out the waitress as she left the table and asked Rachel to repeat things all the time as if I wasn't paying attention. I made sure to order the most expensive meal on the menu, and she said she would do the same. That seemed to calm her down until the check arrived, that is. You have to pay because I don't have a wallet. That was the last straw. She stood up and threw her glass of water all over me. The whole restaurant was staring as she stormed off, and it was so embarrassing. But even though I was rejected again, it felt more thrilling than it did yesterday. I couldn't enjoy it for long, though, because my dad called me right after that moment.
Where the heck are you?
I'm not a little kid anymore. Like, you can't tell me where to be all the time. Or
You must go home immediately. There is an urgent matter.
I cut the call because Dad always exaggerated everything. I felt bad for a moment, but then I remembered that I'd just been dumped again. I was feeling bad and good at the same time, and when you feel like that, you gotta be out in the rain. I headed home soon after, and the house was in a panic. Lightning had struck a big tree outside our house, and it had fallen down and destroyed our kitchen. I ran up to my dad, who was talking to some firefighters while my sisters cried. Dad screamed at me.
Where the heck were you? I said it was an emergency.
I didn't think you were serious.
You need to get a job to help pay for it.
No way, I don't have time to get a job. I was way too busy. Yeah, I felt bad, but it was my dad's house, and he has to figure it out. I had a lot going on, and I was heartbroken. My dad thought I was talking about being busy with schoolwork, so he said that he'd just have to get a second job. He said,
Listen, idiot, I pay a lot of money for your education so you don't end up like me. You better make the most of it and work really hard.
Don't pressure me and don't worry about me anymore. Luckily, my bedroom hadn't been hit by the tree, so I could get right back to business. I spent the next few days trying to chat with more and more girls. While my dad got a second job, I felt guilty, but I wouldn't be young forever and needed to have fun while I still could. Later, my dad came home all happy, saying that he met a lady at work that he really liked. He said,
This woman is going to help me forget all my sorrows in life, including you, my son.
The next day at school, I was shocked to see Trevor, a guy from school, holding Rachel's hand. I couldn't believe it. She was already with another guy. I ran over to them and yelled, "Rachel is my girl, get away from her."
Leave me alone, you psycho. It's over between us.
"Rachel, come with me."
She told you to leave her alone, so get lost.
That was the last straw for me. I swung my fist and punched him right in the face. Soon, we were both swinging at each other until 2 teachers came to separate us. We were sent straight to the principal's office, and I was suspended. I left school feeling like I lost everything. And now, first Rachel was gone, and now my dad would probably go insane if he found out I'd been suspended. Trevor's dad was friends with the superintendent, so on top of everything, he got away with no punishment at all. I got home wondering how I was going to break the news to Dad when I saw his new girlfriend had come over for dinner. I just wanted to drown my sorrows in text messages, but then I saw that there was a gorgeous girl around my age with my dad's girlfriend.
This is Millie, my niece.
I was immediately hooked. I started talking to her a lot. She was so gorgeous and smart. Just my type. I knew I had to be with her before I could get to know her a bit more. My dad pulled me into another room and said,
"I really like Millie's aunt, so you need to back off or you'll ruin my chances with her."
I couldn't believe it. This sad old man had no right to control who I spoke to, so I just ignored him. I managed to get Millie's number without my dad noticing and started texting her all the time. She was so cool and agreed to go out with me. The next day, I was getting ready for my date with Millie when my dad phoned and said,
"You had to take my sister Trisha to an important interview for an international college."
Right at the time I was supposed to meet Millie? Heck no.
"I've had enough of your stupid games and excuses. I'm not asking again. Take your sister or else. This is important for her future."
I figured I had enough time to meet Millie and still get Trisha to her interview, so I took her with me to the mall. I told her, "Just keep your mouth shut. I have to see someone real quick." I met Millie and she looked even prettier than she had before. I couldn't believe I was on a date with her. She looked at Trisha and I had to come up with something fast. That's my sister. She has a condition where she looks 16 but has the mind of a 6-year-old, and Trisha looked like she was going to kill me. "We're just gonna hang out here for a bit. Trisha, be good or I won't take you for ice cream later." She sat with her arms crossed, obviously mad at me, but I was too busy with Millie to care. In fact, Millie seemed to really like that I was taking care of my sister. We were having a great time, and I was really falling for her, but something was missing. The fun that I had with Rachel wasn't there, no matter how well the date went. At the end of the date, Millie gave me a hug and said she'd like to see me again. It left me with mixed feelings, to say the least. Right after my hug, Trisha ran up to me furious. She just looked at her phone to check the time and was really panicking. She yelled,
"We're an hour late for my interview, and it's because you're so busy with girls. I'm gonna miss my chance, and it's all your fault.
Please lower your voice." And we left, but it was too late. The next day, my dad got home in the afternoon and stormed into my room, angrier than ever. Trisha had told him about her missed interview, and he also found out about my suspension. He was screaming loud enough for the whole world to hear it.
"You're so selfish. Why can't you be responsible and stay out of trouble, you stupid boy?"
I was young and needed to live my life. I ran out of the house as quickly as I could and went to sit in the park. I felt bad about everything. As luck would have it, Millie was at the park too, and she said she wanted to go out with me. We hung out and we were having a good time again, but without even thinking, I tried to sabotage things with her. I pulled the same tricks I pulled with Rachel. After all, they would make any girl furious, right? I checked out other girls, acted disrespectfully, and made Millie pay for stuff. But no matter what I did, she just seemed to like me more. I couldn't understand it. The next day when I got back from school, Clara casually said to me,
"Hey bro, Trish packed her bags and left this morning."
"Where did Trisha go?"
"I don't know."
I went up to Trisha's room and saw that all her stuff was gone. My dad was already furious with me. Yeah, if he found out about this, he'd kill me. Panicking, I called Millie and told her what happened. She said she knew where Trisha's boyfriend lived and she would probably be there. So we both headed off to his place. When we got there, we found them standing outside and having a fight. Her boyfriend looked so relieved to see us. He said,
"Thank goodness your sister is crazy. She mentioned the C word, commitment, getting married, and being together forever."
I thought you loved me. I just wanted to be with you.
"Hey, watch it. That's no way to treat a woman. Leave her alone. I'm really sorry you missed your interview. I've had a lot of issues lately, but I still love you. Come home with me. I'll do anything."
Anything? Okay, I want your bedroom.
Millie was watching and I couldn't say no, so I just said, "It's a deal, just come home now."
Deal. Let's go home.
We started to head back. I wasn't actually going to give her my room, but it made me look good to say it. Millie was definitely very impressed with me. As we left, I even got a quick kiss. We drove back home and made it before my dad found out. At the front door was Rachel looking furious.
Is this another one of your targets?
Millie turned back to look at me with a confused look.
What the heck is she talking about?
Moxie is a crazy psycho. He treated me like garbage, refused to leave me alone, and then tried to beat up a guy I was with. You should stay far away from him, or he'll treat you like that too.
Maybe you're just too stupid and shallow to understand Moxie. He's complicated, and I love him just the way he is.
Before Rachel could even reply, we heard a huge crashing sound from the living room. We ran in to see my dad's girlfriend storming out. She was yelling,
"I can't believe you said I eat like a cow, you jerk. I don't even want to see your face right now."
She shut herself in the bedroom.
"Open up! Open the door! I'm sorry."
He saw us standing there and smiled.
I don't know why, but I kind of like it when she yells at me like that.
What the heck is wrong with this family?
Then she ran out the door. We all couldn't help but laugh. I've been seeing Millie for a few weeks now, and we're really happy. Since I've been with her, I haven't wanted to spend all my time looking for girls, and my dad is happy that I'm helping around the house more too. Things finally feel less crazy now that I found Millie, and it feels great to be with someone who finally understands me.
When I was in the first grade, and after I was done doing the task Ms. Janice gave us, I started reading a book. The teacher looked at me through her thick glasses.
"What are you reading? Show me."
I slowly pulled out the book from my lap.
"You're reading Shakespeare's sonnets?"
I'm sorry, miss.
"When did you learn to read this?"
When I was 4. Shakespeare is my favorite poet, and Agatha Christie is my favorite author. Ms. Janice looked really surprised. She and I had so much in common, and we got closer over time.
"Why don't I walk you home today, and I can have a little chat with your parents?"
I led Ms. Janice to my house, and to my horror, we walked straight into one of Mom and Dad's screaming matches.
How many times do I have to tell you the same thing? It's a ketchup stain.
Stop lying to me. I know that was lipstick.
Mom, Dad, we have a visitor. The two stopped short and turned to look at us.
"Hi, I just wanted to talk to you about Luna. We want to put her in the Gifted Kids program and..."
Yeah, whatever. Anything you want me to sign before I leave?
And with that, he was out the door. I hated their fighting, but I was too happy to care for a change. He'd be back soon enough. But this time, he just didn't come back. "Hi, my name is Luna. Please like and subscribe." Dad just disappeared, and he had even blocked our numbers, and Mom just became a depressed couch potato. I had to keep up with all my schoolwork and do all the house chores. At 14, I was already busy preparing for my SATs and applying to colleges. One day when I was studying at home, I got a phone call that shook my world. Mom had been in a terrible car accident. I called Ms. Janice and we rushed over to the hospital. The doctors told us that Mom had suffered a severe head injury and was still unconscious. A week later, Mom finally opened her eyes. The doctor came to check and said everything seemed normal until we asked Mom's name.
Do you remember your name?
It's Candace. Duh.
And what day comes after Tuesday, Candace?
Mom flung a plastic cup at his forehead.
I don't know. Poop face, I want my mommy.
The doctor said he needed to do a brain scan. Mom kicked up such a fuss as the nurses took her away. The doctor made the most shocking discovery ever.
Your mother now has the brain of a 6-year-old. It's possible she'll return to normal, but it could also be permanent.
My mom had turned into an actual baby. My life just turned into a nightmare after that. I had to leave Mom at daycare before going to school. I could see all my college dreams slipping away as I dropped out of my SAT classes. I had enough on my plate right now with Mom and the housework. And boy, was she the brattiest 6-year-old ever! One day when I just finished making dinner, I went to her room and found her busy pulling out everything from the cupboards and throwing it on the floor. Oh my God! Mom, Candace, stop it! Who's gonna clean that up?
Not me.
And she ran out cackling like a little witch. When I went downstairs, she was already at the dinner table. Get your feet off the table, please. A minute later, I got hit by something on my face.
Yuck. I hate broccoli. I want Doritos.
Well, too bad. You have to eat your greens. And then she appeared nauseous. Fine, put on your shoes and we'll go to the grocery store. As I paid at the store, I saw her looking at the Barbie dolls display. I told her we had to go, but she just looked stubbornly at me.
I want one.
No, let's go. What happened next is something I'll never forget. Her eyes filled with rage as she unleashed a scream that was shrill enough. She took and threw the Barbies. And then she threw herself on the floor and started kicking and crying. Horrified, I apologized to the staff and quickly bought a doll. When we finally got home, she took one look at the Barbie and tossed it aside.
Nah, it's really ugly.
And she skipped off to her room happily. Just then, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to see it was Miss Janice. The minute I saw her, I hugged her and started crying. I can't do this. I can't be my mom's mom. I told her I wanted to sell Mom. I would just post it online. Mom for sale. Miss Janice just laughed and hugged me tight.
I found you a part-time job at the local library.
Thank you so much. But soon enough, I discovered the worst thing about being an adult. Paying bills every month. How was I going to pay for everything? Being a library assistant. That evening, I stopped at an ATM and withdrew the last $100 I had. I almost threw away the receipt without looking when suddenly I froze. I stared at my account balance. $13 billion. I looked around, half expecting a camera crew to pop up behind me and tell me this was a big fat joke. I ran back home and logged onto my computer to check again. Someone had anonymously sent me $13 billion. When Miss Janice came to visit me, I told her about the money. Miss, should I report it to the bank because this is clearly a mistake, right?
No one sends someone $13 billion by mistake, love.
Seems like you've got a mystery guardian angel.
It's yours to enjoy.
And enjoy it, I did. The first thing I did was hire a chef, a maid, and a nanny for Mom. I'd now come home from school to a clean mom, folded laundry, a clean house, and fancy food on the table. I started my SAT classes and college applications again. I could go to any university now and take Mom and the nanny with me. One day, I walked into the lounge to find Mom watching Frozen for the millionth time. When she saw me, she ran over to me excitedly.
I want to be Princess Elsa on my birthday. Look, I'll show you these birthday parties on YouTube.
Okay, Mom can have anything she wants. I threw her a grand birthday party and invited the whole neighborhood. Mom made a special appearance in a gorgeous dress. She almost tripped on her flowing blue dress. As she stepped out, I could see all our neighbors staring and snickering. Sometime later, I went to the bouncy castle to look for Mom and saw her in a corner crying while the other kids shouted.
What are you doing here, you weirdo? You're a grown-up.
You look so stupid and ugly.
I just wanted to be Princess Elsa.
No one talks to my mom like that. Come, Mom, we are going to cut the cake now. As Mom excitedly blew the candles, I made a silent wish too. Please let Mom be normal again. Please let Mom be normal again. When everyone had left, Miss Janice turned to me, smiling.
You did a good thing for your mom. She looked really happy. You should sometimes be a kid and have fun too.
She was right. When the weekend came around and my classmates invited me to a party, I didn't turn them down. Just as I was ready to head out, I found out that my babysitter had bailed on me. I didn't know what to do, so I decided to take Mom with me. My mom threw a tantrum the moment I arrived and wanted to go home. Everyone was staring and laughing at us. Shh, be quiet. She looked at me with terrible tears in her eyes and then burst out crying. I'm sorry, let's go home. When we got home, I had enough money to move out and settle down in another town where I could attend college. Miss Janice was sad that I was leaving. I bought a mansion that was especially made for toddlers and included all kinds of games. On my first day at college, Mom cried so hard and didn't want me to leave her with the nannies and the servants. But I put my hands around her face and kissed her forehead. "You will be just fine, Mom." But I was wrong. 2 hours later, I got a phone call and learned that Mom had hit her head again. She was in a coma for 2 days.
Part of her mother's brain still thought she was an adult. That's why she often does dangerous things, thinking she's old enough to do it.
I just realized that leaving for college was still too early. I spent my time at home and started writing. Writing became my only escape. I created my own blog, and to my surprise, people loved my stories. I was inspired by Agatha Christie's novels and wrote many detective stories. People started calling me the modern version of Agatha Christie, saying my stories were addictive. I couldn't be happier. Until one day, I entered my mom's room and found her reading something that didn't look like the children's storybooks I'd given her to read. "What are you reading? Show me. You're reading Shakespeare's sonnets?"
I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't.
"When did you learn to read this?"
I started before we moved out. Shakespeare is my favorite poet, and Agatha Christie is my favorite author.
Was my mom a genius kid? Now I knew how it felt to be a genius with neglected parents, and I just wanted to support Mom and help her improve her talent. But I didn't only want to help Mom. I thought all the kids around the world should have a chance too. I used my billions to build huge libraries around the world for gifted and all kinds of kids. I realized that education and science were far more important than money. I had billions, but they couldn't bring me happiness. I found everything I loved in books, and my mom, she was and still is my #1 fan. Oh, and I also discovered that my mystery benefactor was a rich man who had caused Mom's accident. He felt so bad about it that he looked us up and sent me the billions. I'm really thankful for that man. Not for hitting my mom, of course, but for giving me this great opportunity to make a little change in the world.